Hello friends, my name is Bree and welcome to That Iowa Homestead. Today we're turning all those tomatoes back there into tomato sauce. First thing we're going to do today is we're going to core and quarter all of these tomatoes here. And some of these tomatoes have some spots that don't look the best on them. We're going to go ahead and cut those parts out. And then we're throwing all of them into this roaster pan right here. They'll probably stay in this roaster pan until it's thickened up, and then I will blend it up and get it ready to can. So I have this really nifty tomato corer tool. Looks just like that. I love it. All quartered up, going straight into my roaster pan, seeds and skins and all. Now, I have a couple of different varieties of tomatoes here. I have my Tappy's Heritage variety here, which produces these really perfect red round tomatoes. Great. But then I gotta have something different in there. I gotta have something weird. So these are true black Brandywine tomatoes. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw them in there with this Tappy's Heritage variety, and I'm gonna make it all into sauce. Last tomato is quartered and my roaster pan is full. All right, it is time to go make some chickens very happy. All right, now that my chickens have had their nice tasty little snack, it's time to get these bad boys cooking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go plug this roaster pan in on this little space of counter right over there, and I'm gonna set the temperature to about 275 degrees. Then I'm gonna put the lid on until the temperature is even throughout in here, and once all the tomatoes are heated up evenly, I'm going to remove the lid so that a lot of that moisture, a lot of that extra liquid that's in here can kind of boil off. And throughout this process, Kim, my friend Kim, told me that I needed to stop saying and so Kim, if you're watching this, I just caught myself. Anyways, I am going to be stirring this periodically throughout this whole process. All right, it has been about 1 hour since we started this process, and you can just see how juicy this is. So it's steaming. Everything should be about the same temperature, so we're gonna go ahead and leave the lid off now to try to cook off a lot of this extra moisture. All right, friends, it is long past my bedtime. This little project right here is to be continued until the morning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the lid back on, and I'm gonna turn the temperature all the way down to like a keep warm / 150 degree setting. And I'm gonna let this sit all night. And then first thing in the morning, I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna check on it. And I'm gonna turn the temperature back up and get it back up to a simmer and continue cooking it down in the morning. Good night. See you in the AM. Welcome back, friends. It is the following morning. I believe we are finally cooked down enough to blend and get ready to can. Let's give it a go. All right, let's give this a stir and see what it looks like. Oh, that looks beautiful. Yes. I think this is about perfect for canning. I'll bring you in and give you a closer look. So now that my sauce is all blended up and ready to be canned, I'm going to be following the recipe in my favorite book, The Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. And I'm going to be on page 360 and just doing the basic tomato sauce recipe. So I have all my tools with me. I have my headspace measure and bubble remover. I have my jar lifter. I have my little funnel sitting here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get some hot jars out of the canner, bring them over here. I'm going to put half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of citric acid in the bottom, and then I'm going to ladle the sauce into the jar. Then I have a towel sitting here soaked with vinegar. I'm going to wipe the rim, put a lid and a band on, and put it back in the canner. Now this is also the point in time where if you wanted to, you could put some herbs and spices in here. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it plain so that when I'm cooking, I can add whatever spices I feel like at the time. So we want this to be at about a 1/2 inch headspace, which we still have plenty of room there. So let's put a little more in. Check that out and see where we're at. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to set this down, and I have a little towel here soaked in vinegar. I'm going to wipe the rim off, make sure that there's nothing that can obstruct that seal. Grab a lid, grab a band, tighten it down to finger tight, and it is ready for the canner. All right, there's our 1/2 inch. Good wipe down. Oh, I forgot to do it with that last jar, but we also want to take our little thing through here and make sure that there are no bubbles in there, and then double check our headspace. Still good. Now I'm going to wipe the rim one more time, since I probably just smashed some. Grab a lid, grab a band, and continue on. All right, all my jars are in the canner, ready to go. The last thing I'm going to do before I bring these to a boil is put a little bit of white vinegar in there to keep hard water stains off of my jars. Just like that. Let's put the lid on and let them go. All right, my jars are now at a full rolling boil. So we are going to set our timer back here for 35 minutes. See you in a while. All right, our time is up. So we're going to take the lid off here and we're going to set another timer for 5 minutes before we remove the jars from the canner. Welcome back again. It has now been 5 minutes, so it is now safe to take these jars out of the canner and put them on their final resting place for the next 12 to 24 hours while they cool. All right, so I have my jars cooling right there. And I think I still have enough sauce in here for another 3-ish jars. So we're gonna go ahead and get that in the jar and get those in the canner too. All right, last jar is filled. Let's get it in the canner. All right, last jar is in the canner. Now, this is only like a half a batch in my canner right now. So just to kind of help things out a little bit, I did put a couple of empty jars in here just as like placeholders so that my jars don't rattle around too much. I would hate to come back here later and discover that my jars have broken because they rattled around too much in the boiling water. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to do it, but that's how I'm going to do it today. So yeah, same thing as last round. We're going to get these guys boiling. Heat is on. Once they come to a full rolling boil, I will set my timer for 35 minutes, and then I will get these jars out of the canner and over there to cool with the rest of the jars. All right, friends, we ended up with 10 tomato sauce jars. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. And that is how I can tomato sauce. Thank you for coming with me today. I'll see you soon.